U.S. Supreme Court blocks emergency tariffs. One of the most significant developments this week in the United States came from the U.S. Supreme Court. The court ruled that former President Donald Trump's broad emergency-based tariffs were unlawful. In its decision, the court emphasized that the constitutional authority to impose trade tariffs belongs to Congress, not solely to the executive branch. The ruling could directly affect tariffs previously imposed on major trading partners, including China, Canada, and Mexico. Legal experts say the decision not only reshapes U.S. trade policy but also sets a precedent limiting executive power in economic matters. Markets and lawmakers are now assessing what this means for existing trade measures and future tariff policies. New global tariff proposal announced. Following the Supreme Court's decision, former President Trump signaled a new strategy, proposing a temporary 10% global tariff under a different legal framework. The stated goal is to protect domestic manufacturing and reduce reliance on overseas supply chains. Supporters argue that stronger trade measures are necessary to strengthen American industry and improve economic resilience. Critics, however, warn that additional tariffs could raise consumer prices and provoke retaliation from international partners. Economists say the proposal adds another layer of uncertainty to global trade relations at an already sensitive time. A market reaction to trade uncertainty. Financial markets reacted quickly to the legal and political developments. Major stock indexes saw gains following the court's decision. While the U.S. dollar experienced slight weakness, investors appear to be responding positively to limits placed on executive trade authority. However, analysts caution that the broader uncertainty surrounding future tariff policies could continue to create volatility. With global supply chains still adjusting from recent disruptions, any significant shift in U.S. trade strategy could have ripple effects across international markets. Tensions at White House governor's meeting. Political tensions were visible this week during a high-profile gathering at the White House attended by state governors. Disagreements over federal funding, immigration policy, and public safety priorities led to noticeable friction during the event. Observers say the meeting highlighted deep divisions between federal leadership and several state governments. With election season approaching, political analysts believe these tensions could intensify, particularly as budget negotiations and policy debates continue in Washington. U.S. military operation in Latin America. The U.S. military conducted an operation in Latin American waters targeting vessels allegedly linked to drug trafficking networks. Officials described the action as part of a broader international security cooperation effort aimed at disrupting organized crime activities, while authorities framed the operation as a necessary step in combating narcotics trafficking. Regional observers are closely watching for potential diplomatic reactions. The incident underscores ongoing U.S. involvement in security operations across the Western Hemisphere. Troop adjustment at U.S. base in Qatar. Reports indicate that the United States has begun adjusting troop levels at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, one of the largest U.S. military installations in the region. While officials have not described the move as a full withdrawal, the shift has drawn attention amid ongoing tensions in the Middle East. Defense analysts suggest the adjustment could reflect strategic repositioning rather than escalation. Nevertheless, regional stability concerns remain elevated as diplomatic and military developments continue to unfold. Podesta policy changes may impact tourism. Changes to the U.S. ESTA visa waiver program are raising concerns within the travel and tourism industry. Industry representatives warn that stricter eligibility rules could discourage international visitors and potentially reduce tourism revenue. The travel sector, still recovering from previous global disruptions, is monitoring the policy changes closely. Government officials, meanwhile, argue that updated screening measures are necessary for national security and border management. The oil prices rise amid geopolitical tensions. Oil prices moved higher this week as geopolitical tensions in the Middle East intensified. Speculation surrounding potential military actions and diplomatic developments contributed to volatility in energy markets. Energy analysts warn that sustained price increases could place renewed pressure on inflation, both in the United States and globally. With fuel costs influencing transportation, manufacturing, and consumer prices, market participants are watching developments closely. NATO exercise adjustments. Ahead of an upcoming NATO military exercise, some participating nations announced adjustments to their planned deployments. Defense officials described the changes as routine logistical decisions. However, strategic analysts say any modification in multinational exercises can signal broader recalibrations within alliance planning. As global security dynamics continue to evolve, NATO coordination remains a focal point for policymakers. U.S. sets timeline in Iran nuclear talks. The U.S. administration has reportedly set a defined timeline for progress in ongoing nuclear negotiations with Iran. Officials indicated that if measurable advancements are not achieved within the specified period, alternative policy options may be considered. Diplomatic observers say the coming weeks could prove critical. The outcome of these talks may significantly influence regional stability and broader geopolitical relations.